This is gator country, a beautiful but treacherous stretch of swamp near Tallahassee. The blood runs cold in the powerful reptiles that rule the water here. But is Mike Williams the victim of another kind of cold-blooded killer?
There would be a bone, there would be a foot. Alligators don't just consume people whole.
The glistening waters of Florida's Lake Seminole, just outside of Tallahassee, had always been a favorite spot for Michael. A man who seemed to have it all: a successful career in real estate, a beautiful wife, a sweet young daughter, and a longtime love for duck hunting. Friends say Mike would grab any chance to hunt, even if he had to sit alone in his boat on Seminole Lake.
It was not unusual for Michael to go hunting by himself.
Then one December morning, as a whipping cold front was tearing into Tallahassee, Mike grabs his shotgun and heads out to the lake.
A lot of ducks here.
A lot of ducks.
What about alligators?
There's alligators too. Lake Seminole has quite its share.
Mike promises his adoring wife, Denise, he'll be back by noon. After all, it's a special day. The loving couple is celebrating their 6th wedding anniversary.
I said, so what are you doing this weekend? He says, Denise and I are having a wedding anniversary. We're going to go down to this little bed and breakfast and just kind of relax and kick back. And I said, sounds great.
But it's well past noon now. Mike hasn't returned home from his hunting trip. Daylight curls into darkening skies, and Denise becomes frantic.
He had a cell phone, he wasn't answering it.
She phones her dad, and friends rendezvous at the lake. Brian Winchester, Mike's best buddy, and Denise's dad lead the desperate search at dusk for her missing husband.
It was still very windy, cold. Storm had just blown through.
Florida Fish and Wildlife Officer David Arnett was the first investigator called to the scene.
And I was told that we had a missing boater on Lake Seminole.
The search is called off for the night, but the next day they get their first break into Mike's mysterious disappearance. They find his boat.
There's no question about the boat being launched here due to the fact that his truck and trailer was right here also.
And where was the boat found from here?
The boat was found approximately 300 yards to our right. It was apparent that it had been launched by one individual, the way the boat had been turned around and apparently pushed out.
Mike's shotgun was there still in its case. There was some decoys on top of some other equipment.
But there was no Mike. Search and rescue divers, choppers, and hundreds of hours of manpower by law enforcement agencies over weeks, then months, are spent scouring the lake looking for Mike, hoping by some miracle he's still alive. But tragically, it became all too clear.
They were treating this as an accident. Mike had fallen over.
Florida Fish and Wildlife investigators believed he had been pulled under by the weight of his fisherman's waders and drowned in the shallow depths of alligator-infested waters.
The boater had fell out of the boat and possibly drowned. There was no other indication of anything else.
But that just didn't hold water with Mike's grieving mom.
I don't have a body. I don't have anything to tell me what happened to my son. Supposedly, alligators ate him.
But Mike's mom says there is one big problem, and it has to do with the weather. Remember, it was bitterly cold that day.
Alligators do not eat in cold water.
Alligators don't eat people whole. If they do attack, they chew on people, they tear arms and legs or whatever off. But there's always parts found after an alligator attack.
But not a gnawed human bone nor a shred of human flesh has ever surfaced from those muddy waters. And there's something else. Nobody remembers seeing Mike at the lake that morning. Up next, Mike's mom wages a one-person crusade to open a criminal probe into Mike's mysterious disappearance.
What do you think happened to him?
Somebody must have hurt my son.
But who in the world would want Mike gone? His family points us in a direction many just can't believe.